Hey guys, welcome to another vlog. Today we're going to talk about Canon's new entry to the mirrorless market. That is the EOS R. Now it's not so new anymore considering that Photokina just happened 2 nights ago and other brands kind of just released their new stuff and became old news. But I only recently just got the opportunity to hold one, also just to use it in a little bit of a casual way. So thanks to Canon Collective, Collab Space and Hot Import Nights Australia for having the event and actually inviting me to come. From an outside looking in, the camera looks really good. It has a 30 megapixel dual pixel CMOS sensor with the dual pixel AF that Canon is really known for, and it was blistering fast. When I tried it, the touchscreen worked really well. So they're calling this mount an RF mount, and it is bringing a whole new lenses for the future. Right now they have the 28-70 f2, the 24-105, the 50 1.2, and I believe it's the 35 1.8. But they also have adapters for your old or current EF lenses, which I think is the part that sells the camera the most, is those adapters. The adapters work really well, including electronic contacts, so you still have your AF, and it works as if it's native, just a bit bigger. But it has one adapter with a slot-in filter. And I thought that was really cool because you can have one filter for all your Canon lenses. And the filter thread is only about 50 something millimeters, so it's not even that expensive to buy that one filter. From holding it and using it a little bit, the build is very solid. The body is amazing and I love the design. I like how the camera actually looks. I think they got that on point. And the size, I think the size is really good. It's the perfect kind of size for that body. Now, what they went wrong with it, I think, is the lens. It's just too big. It looks weird. It's funny that you gone about going into a mirrorless camera to go smaller than the 5D, and you built the right size, except the native lenses feels like as if it's an adapted lens. It's clunky, it's long, it's wider than the actual body. The 28-70 f2 is 95 millimeters in diameter. It feels like as if you bought a mirrorless camera, put in an adapter, and then use your Canon lens. So what's the difference with what everyone's using now? Why should we go back to Canon? And that was my initial thought. So I went into this comparing it to the GH5, which I use mainly for all of my shoots. And it's a great camera. It shoots well, the files come out nicely, and then obviously that Canon color science can't be beaten just yet. It's just lacking a lot of stuff, and I get that this is the first of many to come. It kind of excels, obviously, is when I bring it out to the nighttime, especially with the 50 1.2, and you bring the ISO range up and it looks amazing, it looks natural, and that's something that obviously can beat the GH5. It just feels like Canon's kind of half-assed build onto this camera. They could have taken it here, but they just went down a little bit here. I get that they want to sell all the other cameras above it, so they don't want to crash that market. There's a lot of things to pick on this camera. First of all, I really don't like the button layout on this camera. There's just not enough. With the Canon, it kind of feels like it focuses a lot on the touchscreen itself, which it's great if your camera's on a tripod, but if you're handhelding or monopod, that part kind of fell short for me. Because of the way they made their lenses bigger than their cameras, it has that front heavy feel amplified. Almost feels like I'm always using a 70-200 on a DSLR. Like I have to hold the lens rather than the camera. It just didn't feel very comfortable. Hand holding makes it really difficult for video. There's a lot of shake, as you can see. I didn't use any monopod, I just handheld everything just to test it out. Obviously, it having no IBIS or dual IS didn't help. Yes, it does have 4K. It doesn't have 4K 60 frames, which the GH5 does. That was a letdown, but also their 4K is what I guess the GH4 used to be, which is a crop 4K. So it's not using the whole sensor. It actually makes the camera into a Super 35 around there at 1.7 crop, which again is kind of like a GH5 with the Metabones adapter with the Canon lens is around that 1.6, 1.5 crop. So there's no difference, it's not really a full frame again. Overall impression of the camera, I think it's a really good start. on what Canon could be in the near future, I think is a really good system. But I think a lot of Canon users or former Canon users will be starting to think maybe investing in coming back to the Canon system. So it's a great positive thing for Canon. It's a great addition to their lineup. I just think they should work some things out and also add a bit more features if it wants to be in the professional video game. But yeah, it's just not for me, especially when Panasonic just dropped the bombshell that they're releasing the S1 and the S1R, which is a full-frame mirrorless Panasonic camera, basically a GH5 with full frame. Everything that the GH5 has with full frame plus a Leica glass. I'm not sure if I'm ever going back to Canon. But thanks to Hot Import Nights Australia, Collab Space and Canon Collective for having this event and letting me try one of the new toys. It was a really fun night. But yeah, see you guys soon.